final $20, you can pay for pizza. The after.
I don't know if you should say something publicly.
I don't know.
Does anybody know what this comes from?
Money? Santa? It's a little early for Christmas. Waiting on a clerk. We're good? Okay. It's June 18th, 2025. I call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Bennett,
Here.
Leosa,
Here.
Mealy,
Here.
Sasso,
Here.
Skiara,
Here.
Witecki, Matthews.
Here. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice that this meeting has been provided by the annual schedule of regular meetings, herefore adopted and posted on the public bulletin board at the municipal building, emailed to the Herald News, the Record, the Gazette, and all persons who have requested the mailing of such since November 19, 2024. Before we begin, is there anyone in the audience that left us all a little gift? Just wanted to verify what it was for? Okay. Approval of the minutes, we have none this evening. Public comment on agenda items. If you want to be spoken, speak to us on agenda items, open meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard, come forward and state your name. No, this is for agenda items. I have a feeling you're here for
Something else.
truck issue. That'll be it a little later. Have a motion to close this public comment.
Yes.
Motion by Mealy, second by Witecki. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Adoption of ordinances. We have none tonight. Old business. Joe.
I want to thank Eric for reaching out to me on the signs at 204, but those two signs that he replied to, I'm okay with those two signs. It was the huge banner that was taken down. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm okay with, I said I was okay with the little signs. It was that big banner sign that I requested to have come down. Second is Elbron Ave. Is there any update about the garbage truck and the spillage of liquids? I know that we were going to ask the director of DPW to see what they're doing in surrounding communities. I did take pictures of Seaside Park, Seaside Heights, Belleville, Nutley, Bloomfield, and not one of those towns has any sewage or garbage sludge against their streets.
I asked the Public Works Director to look into it. I haven't heard back from him what he's found. I took a drive in the area, and for whatever reason, we seem to be able to do this only in front of, on your block, in front of your house, which I guess isn't funny for anybody living there.
Isn't funny for anyone.
Isn't funny for anybody living there. We're just going to have to watch what they do. And see if we can come up with a solution that somebody else has that prevents that sort of thing from happening. I don't have a report on that yet.
Okay. That is all.
Mike.
No old.
Rena.
Not tonight.
Bruce.
No, sir.
Anna Marie.
Not tonight, sir.
Dominique.
Can I ask Joe a question?
Sure.
Joe, what's a carding service that they're using? Do you know? Is it their own, or is it?
No, it's B&B.
No, I meant you said you had other towns. You were talking other towns.
Yeah, do they have B&B as well, I guess?
I don't believe they do. I know Seaside Park is private. They
They have their own.
their own town. Seaside Heights is private.
Okay, maybe that's okay. Thank you. No, I have nothing.
Can I just ask a quick question? Do you think that it's just being done on your block?
No, I don't, because I know the plugs are being taken out to get the sludge out.
Okay. But it happens to be a lot on your block.
Unfortunately, it does seem to happen a lot on Mr. Witecki's block.
Okay.
Old business, I had, Eric, what's the situation with the resident who submitted a claim to B&B for a destroyed garbage can. It's been 6 months now. I told you about it
Yeah,
previously, and he says he has not heard back from anyone.
I,
I'm getting ready to pay him myself and put in a requisition for payment.
I will follow up with that one. I thought that should be pretty automatic, but I don't know why it didn't happen.
Well, there's no B&B bill on the list. Otherwise, I would have requested we pull their bill,
Okay,
which is going to happen next meeting.
right,
So you know what that means?
right.
2 weeks.
We'll take care of it, though.
I mean, it's $45.
I know, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay.
Nice garbage can.
No, they're not cheap. New business, Dominic,
I'm okay.
Anna Marie,
I'm okay.
Bruce,
Yes, sir.
Rena,
I'm okay.
Mike.
I'd like to congratulate the graduates of Lincoln Middle School and tonight the Hawthorne High School. That's it.
Joe.
Nothing.
Okay, well, we'll turn to the administrative agenda presented by Mayor Lane.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. On behalf of the Borough, congratulations to the graduates of Hawthorne High School, Hawthorne Christian Academy, Lincoln Middle School, and St. Anthony's School. Tonight, rather than to present to you a report covering a number of topics and issues going on in our borough, I want to focus on one issue only: vehicle safety and traffic. I want to address the tragic crash that occurred on June 11th at Fairview Ave and Goffle Hill Road involving a dump truck. Our hearts go out to the victim's family. This tragedy has left deep impact on our community, and it highlights why roadways safety must remain a top priority. Over the past few years, my administration has worked closely with the Hawthorne Police Department, our Ordinance Committee, making commercial vehicle regulations a key focus and a priority. We have taken steps to limit where large trucks can travel, and in light of this recent tragedy, we are redoubling our efforts to protect our residents. I personally reached out to Mayor Randy George of North Haledon. I want to publicly thank him for allowing us to install no trucks over 4-ton signs on the following North Haledon roads that connect to Hawthorne: Greenwood Ave, Bryan Court and Surrey Lane, Hillcrest Drive, and Woodland Avenue. This partnership is a significant step forward, limiting large commercial vehicles from entering our residential neighborhoods. Thank you, Mayor George, for your support. Signage in North Haledon will help us control traffic before an event enters our neighborhoods. We are enhancing truck signage across the borough. Upgrades have already been completed on Watchung, North Watchung, Roosevelt Ave, Ray Ave Extension, and many, many other streets. We are identifying additional roads for possible inclusion in the truck restricting ordinance. I am working directly with our Borough Ordinance Committee to review and strengthen these regulations. We're also exploring changes to our garbage and recycling service to reduce risks on steep roads. Options include using lighter weight trucks and implementing a relay system where smaller trucks collect uphill and transfer waste to larger trucks at lower elevations. This type of system would reduce the risk posed by heavy trucks on steep roads and protect our citizens and infrastructure. Speed limits on all roads have been lowered to 25 miles an hour. In partnership with Passaic County Engineering and our Council Ordinance Committee, Goffle Road has a consistent 35-mile-an-hour speed limit throughout Hawthorne. In partnership with Glen Rock, we've installed push-to-walk flashing crosswalk lights on Lincoln Avenue, at Kingston Avenue, and at Winkle Avenue. This shared effort improves safety in a busy pedestrian area between our two towns. We've added four-way stops to key intersections throughout the borough. We're also implemented parking restrictions in problem areas to improve visibility and traffic flow. I received a call from the County Administrator, Matt Jordan, pertaining to North 8th Street as a one-way. He gave me permission to prepare an ordinance for the council to approve, as well as the commissioners, for a one-way street from Hawthorne to Prospect Park. I've been working with the county for the last 3 years to have North 8th Street become a one-way. North 8th Street has always been a concern as to the safety for our residents. Traffic will be diverted to a street better equipped to handle the volume of cars and trucks. Cars will no longer be parking on the sidewalk on North 8th Street. Again, the safety issues for pedestrians. Last month, I signed my name to a 2025 local government joint letter to Congress urging lawmakers to maintain current truck sizes and weight laws and opposing longer and heavier trucks on our roads. I want to thank Chief Nepper of the Hawthorne Police Department and especially our Traffic Bureau for their commitment to data-driven enforcement and daily dedication to our public safety. Let me be clear, roadway safety isn't just a goal, it's a promise. 3.5 years ago, when I took office, one of our focuses was making Hawthorne safe for drivers and pedestrians. Now, in addition to these concerns, we have motorized bikes and scooters to contend with. We continue to work with our council and our police department to control speeding and laws of the road. Working together with the council, we have hired additional police officers, and I can tell you that the ticket volume for speeding and traffic violations has increased. We've made strong progress, and we're going to keep moving forward with urgency, compassion, and determination, not just for Hawthorne, but for our neighbors in the surrounding towns. Because when it comes to safety, we're all in this together. Tonight, I asked Lieutenant Mark Mikowski and Sergeant Anthony DeLallo to be with us. Both officers are from our Traffic Bureau. Sergeant DeLallo is a commercial vehicle subject matter expert. He is weight master, and he teaches at the Police Academy. They will be here to answer any questions that anyone would have. I turn it over now to my attorney, Michael Pasquale.
Thank you, Mayor. My report is also singularly limited, and that is to the topic of affordable housing. Important, but not quite as life safety involved as what the mayor addressed. But it is nonetheless important. And on tonight's agenda is R105-25. It is a resolution that requests your endorsement of the housing element and fair share plan that was adopted last evening by the planning board of the Borough of Hawthorne. Affordable housing has now been with us for 50 years. In 1975, the first Mount Laurel decision was rendered, Mount Laurel 1, followed by Mount Laurel 2 in 1983. The Supreme Court of this state determined that affordable housing was and is a constitutional obligation, and that every community in this state that is a developing community has an obligation to meet its fair share of the burden, we'll call it, of providing the realistic opportunity for the development of affordable housing. You can look at the Constitution all day long. You will not see the words affordable housing. It's not there, but the Supreme Court found it there, and there is not anything we or the legislature or the governor can do to change that. It exists. In concept, in theory, not any of us in this room are opposed to the ability of people to find good, affordable housing. The issue we all have in this room is that it's forced upon us in an unfair way, in measures that really impact us unduly and unfairly. We all agree that that is the case. All that said, there is a statute, there is a law. The law was passed and signed into law by the governor 2 years ago, and it did require every community that is a developing community, which means not the urban aid communities of our state, to meet its fourth round affordable housing obligation. The Borough of Hawthorne has a fourth round obligation to rehabilitate 6 units of affordable housing. Certainly does not sound like a big reach, and if you look around town, I'm certain all of us could identify a few places where the facilities have fallen to such disrepair that they become uninhabitable. We can all think of one or two, I am sure, immediately. We have a fund that is available to address that, and homeowners can obtain a grant up to $15,000 to make rehabilitation to their property in exchange for keeping certain promises to the borough, such as repaying that if in fact you sell the property. In the round 4 plan, we've increased that to $20,000 because 15 doesn't provide as much as it did. None of us really have a big problem with this aspect of the plan because it's rehabilitating our existing housing stock, and the money we need to fund that is already in place. The new construction component is the part that all of us do have problems with. New construction obligation of the Borough of Hawthorne is 200 units of affordable housing over the next 10 years. That would mean we need to build 1,000 new units of housing in this town, with 20% of that set aside for affordable housing. It's not a realistic number. It doesn't bear any relation to the number of building permits, for instance, we've issued over the last decade, which were 180 in total. It doesn't bear any relation to anything remotely resembling the growth opportunities in this town. We therefore prepared a plan that seeks what's called a vacant land adjustment. That is to say, we do not have sufficient vacant available developable land to meet the burden of 200 units of affordable housing. We just don't have it. We have no vacant available developable land for that purpose. What we are obligated under round 4 to do, however, and this is an extra step that we are absolutely obligated by law to undertake, is to identify properties which within the next 10 years are likely to redevelop. And we have, in fact, identified 3 properties in this town that are in what's called redevelopment zones. We have actually made a finding that they are areas in need of redevelopment. This includes the 2 properties that are on Lafayette Avenue, owned by Hawthorne Chevy, or at least a former Hawthorne Chevy site, and the Pan Chemical site adjoining the train station. John Sabo, who prepared our plan, and I worked diligently on putting this together and determined that based upon that being our only likely developable or to be developed property in the next decade, our realistic development potential, RDP, is 23 affordable housing units, which we can meet through the redevelopment of those properties. Based on that number, we're going to ask for your approval tonight of a plan, or at least endorsement, because the plan has been approved, to indicate that we have to meet an obligation of 23 units of housing over the next decade, to have what's called an unmet need of 177 additional units, which are going to hang out there until other properties develop, and to also, as part of that one last thing, increase the set aside on spontaneously developing property. So if somebody comes along and wants to just build 10 houses or 10 units of housing on property that they've managed to cobble together as a site large enough to handle that, then we're going to say 20% of that is set aside for affordable housing to meet the so-called unmet need. None of us love the plan. I'm not going to suggest that any one of you should be sitting there saying, this is great, we ought to throw a parade for those who dreamed up these numbers, or we should some way celebrate. What we should do is realize that to do otherwise, to vote no on this resolution, is to risk everybody in this community to builder's remedy lawsuits. If we do not, by June 30th, submit to the program an adopted and endorsed fair share plan, then any owner of any property in this community can go to the courts. And instead of us having any control over the property, which we will with endorsement of this plan, we will hand control of development in this town to a judge, who will then decide how high our buildings should be and how many units of housing should be on and in each one of those. So if all of you wish to hand home rule to a judge, knock your socks off. But if you want to, in fact, try to maintain a level of control over development in a circumstance that's far from ideal, then I do urge you to endorse this plan tonight. I speak strongly on it, but I feel strongly about it. And I think if we're going to represent the people of Hawthorne, that's what we need to do tonight, is to put our personal feeling aside about the flaws in the law and realize this is the game that exists. And if we choose to sit this one out, the game's going to move right by us, and it's not going to be good. That concludes that aspect of my report, Mayor. More positive news is the band shell. This Sunday, June 22nd, 7 p.m., the Emerald Experience will be performing at the band shell. For those who don't recall, the Emeralds were formed by Joe Zisa and his friends 70 years ago, which is kind of insane. And
They played at my high school dances.
yeah, they played at my wedding.
They are old.
They are really old. Joe passed away, and as a tribute to Joe, the band is together. And this Sunday night at 7 p.m., the Emerald Experience will be playing 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s music like they always did to the crowd, and we hope everybody will be there. Our remaining schedule is on July 20th. We have Sivan Arbel coming back, beautiful jazz singer. On July 24th, a special presentation with our NPP committee being our prime sponsor for the night. Super Trans Am is coming back. They're phenomenal. They put on a great show. On Sunday, July 27th, Captain Jack returns, which we all love his performance. On August 3rd, Big Hicks country band is in. And then a great young singer named Harper Lovey is performing on August 10th. On August 17th, Filet of Soul returns. They're a lot of fun. They are a big group of musicians who play a lot of Motown's favorite songs, so they're great. And then on our last event of the summer will be on August 24th. It's going to be a movie. I don't have the title yet, but we are likely to present another Lego movie with a Lego event preceding the movie where kids are allowed to come and build with all the Legos I've collected. My kids have collected over the years, buckets of them. So join us this Sunday, 7 p.m. at the band shell for a tribute to Joe Zisa. Mayor, that concludes my lengthy report.
Thank you, Michael. Now I'll turn it over to our engineer, Joe Byrne.
Thank you, Mayor. The 2024 roadway improvement programs, the pre-con for the borough-funded 2024-2025 road program is scheduled for tomorrow, Thursday, June 19th. The NJDOT-funded 24-25 local aid projects are currently out to bid, and the opening is set for July 2nd with an expected award date of July 9th. The Lafayette Streetscape Phase 3 project, the contractor is beginning work this week. The galvanized water service line replacement Phase 3 project, all work has been completed with the exception of the service lines at Lincoln Middle School and St. Anthony's. Work on those is being coordinated and will likely be performed sometime this August. The 2023 road improvement local aid 5th and Central project, the contractor has come back out and has completed the repairs along Central Avenue. Wagaraw Fields 2 and 3 Bleacher improvements, the pre-con meeting for the project is scheduled for tomorrow as well, Thursday, June 19th. The Franklin Field emergency repairs, the report for the work performed to date has been submitted to the insurance company. Quality Electric, their invoice is due for payment, and the authorization to replace the damaged panel is still required. The galvanized water service lines, Phase 4, we're still waiting on approval from the DEP and NJIB to go out to bid. We've been waiting for quite some time, but that project is ready to go out to bid once we receive approval. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Joe. And now I'll turn it over to our administrator, Eric Maurer.
Thank you, Mayor. After being open on weekends only, the Hawthorne Municipal Pool will begin opening daily on this Saturday, June 20th. Registration for pool membership can be done at the pool only during regular pool hours. We had a positive meeting with Ridgewood on Monday regarding our water sale agreement. We have 2 issues remaining, however, that still need to be resolved before finalization. Resolutions 102, 103, 104, and 114 all amend the 2025 budget to insert both the revenue and the appropriation for various grants. An $87,000 local recreation improvement grant for new bleachers at WAG 1, a $750 stigma-free walk for wellness grant, and a $46,000 Clean Communities grant, and a $1,753 alcohol education rehab enforcement grant. Resolution R108 awards a contract to conduct and manage state-mandated lead paint inspections for residential rental properties. Landlords can expect to receive letters about the program sometime in July. The selection of Lou Environmental Services for this contract was done through a state-approved process called competitive contracting, in which factors in addition to cost are used to rate proposals. I have a memo in the packet detailing this process. Resolution R109 awards a contract to Boswell for design and inspection service for the WAG 1 bleachers, funded in part by the state grant that is the subject of our 104, I believe. We're also expecting another grant of open space funds from Passaic County for this project that will cover a significant portion of the cost of the project. Resolution R110 authorizes submission of a grant application to the NJDOT, which would fund road paving. Unfortunately, the draft resolution I supplied to the clerk for the packet refers to the wrong list of streets. In actuality, the streets to be repaved would be McFarland Avenue, North 17th Street, and a portion of Westerveld Avenue. That portion is not being paved this year. I have provided the clerk a corrected version. Resolutions R111, 112, and 113 relate to sale of notes by the NJIB to finance 3 of our projects, phases 2 and 3 of the service line replacement program, and the 2024 and 2025 road programs. The 2 years of roads are actually being both repaved this year with the contract awarded last month, as mentioned by Joe. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Eric. Mr. Chairman, we'll answer any questions that the council may have.
While we have the police department here, do you want to have them?
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had any questions first.
Okay, any questions to the administration? Joe?
Eric, you announced that the pool will be opening on Saturday, June 20th.
June
21st?
21st, yes.
That's 2 days before Father's Day.
Yeah, right, exactly.
In our calendar, it does say
Father's Day.
Father's Day is Sunday, and it was last Sunday.
Right.
And the pool will open on Monday. That's what it says in our calendar.
Well, take advantage of the extra Father's Day.
Yeah.
I put out the wrong recycling, by the way.
Okay.
But that was right in the calendar.
That was correct. Nothing else.
Like,
No, I have no questions for administration.
Just a follow-up. For all the work that we've been doing the last 4 years with the recreation fields, WAG, and Franklin Field, Do we have any outstanding projects that we need to do? I know there was a recreation community report when you got in, Mayor, so I was just thinking, I mean, we got some really nice grants this year, and we got grants last year to contribute to those costs. But is there anything outstanding? Because I know we've done the fencing, we've done the fences.
We have yet to do the bleachers at WAG 4. And
Okay.
that would be the subject of the next round of grant applications we do.
Okay.
Open space in particular, maybe the local recreation improvement grant if it exists. Those are the ones that I can think of. That's the one I can think of.
Yeah.
The
I'm not
WAG
thinking anything
the
like
WAG
bigger.
That WAG 4 bleachers would probably be a smaller amount, so we may only need one of the two grants that we've been using for bleachers. We may only need one, so if we can identify something else, I'm not sure, maybe the baseball bleachers at WAG, at Franklin Field, that,
Or WAG 3.
WAG 2 and 3 we're doing this year.
Okay, doing 2 and 3, and we did 1.
We did
Okay.
one, and we would do 4 the next round, maybe the baseball bleachers at Franklin Field. And then pretty much everything at those complexes are new. The Veterans Field is all, comparatively new. And so I don't know what's next, but I'm sure there will be projects that, that we can come up with that for future grant applications beyond that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
What are we doing with the old bleachers? Is there any interest from other towns of using them and installing? I know we're doing accessibility and all that as part of our program, but it just seems like a waste to
I don't know. we
toss
can-
it. They're beat up. No, like the newer ones on like 2 and 3 were newer aluminum, not newer, yeah, within the last
In the
20
Franklin,
years.
in the Franklin field.
Yeah, whereas the old cement ones, they could see better days. But, okay.
Yeah, okay, well, look, I'll talk to the engineer and see what's salvageable.
Anna Marie?
Michael, would you just clarify for me and for our residents' benefit, the affordable housing units of 23 total between those 3 properties, what does that equate to in buildable units in total?
It would be 20% of the total number, which in this case
111.
would be
111 total?
111. Thanks, Frank,
But we're
for
actually
the
getting
number.
28 credits.
We
Okay,
get
so that-
28
right.
credits because you do get credit for development near transit in this case. So we can take up to 5 bonus credits.
So you were very eloquent explaining the pain that this is for all of us, but we do appreciate that. If we decide now, as we have to, it's better than having it be decided for us later. And our big concern is about handling the other parts of it, right? The education system and the infrastructure. And that's things that we will address
Well-
in as much as we can, right, moving down the road.
Correct. For each of these
But
sites.
we're certainly aware of it. For this is for the residents. right?
Yeah.
We're aware of it. We're cognizant. It's forefront in our minds, but we have no choice but to address this affordable housing responsibility. We are for it. Everyone deserves a place to live, but we have to make this decision. Again, for the benefit of the residents, the lawsuit that 29 towns have put together, I'm being asked, why aren't we a part of it? Would you, just for the benefit of the residents, explain what that has done? And I read it, you have read it, and it doesn't seem like the outcome is that much different than what we're doing right now.
And Marie,
Am I right?
I've asked the administration to find out what the buy-in costs and to go forward to speak to the Montvale group, what it would cost for us to join.
Okay,
Yeah. So the council president reached out to us today.
okay.
And Eric has already reached out to the Montvale mayor and I will reach out to the lead attorney just to get some ideas of what that would be. Let me answer a couple of things, though, that you said. First of all, the fact that you identify sites capable of being developed for housing doesn't end anything. It just starts it. Because what goes there is something that we have great say in. For instance, building heights, densities in terms of the total number of units, and how they're located on the site are important. We are considering, as for instance, which some of you mentioned, I know you've mentioned this, Council President, we don't really have enough that we do for senior housing. We are allowed to provide for up to 30% of our obligation to be met through senior housing. We have every intention of looking to do that. The Pan-Chemical site doesn't lend itself well to senior, but certainly if you look at the Hawthorne Chevy site, to be able to locate some senior housing in proximity to local businesses, walkability and things like that does make great sense. So, you know, we will have a lot more to go before some shovel hits the ground somewhere, including review by the planning board, which would, again, infrastructure, water runoff, water supply, all the things we look at, traffic, parking, and circulation. So it's a long way from finished. As to the lawsuit, whether we are part of the lawsuit or not doesn't alter the outcome of the lawsuit, except perhaps to give one more number to the list. But the fact is, I hate to say that the folks in Montvale and other towns are carrying the water for the other 570 communities in the state, but they are in large part. If they succeed, we succeed. Should we buy in? Can we? We're going to look at what that is economically and to see. They've had limited success. I know they put out a news release that they had great success. Truthfully, what they got was an interpretation which mirrored the interpretation all of us were giving, which was reflected in our plan already. But I agree with the Council President, something to look into and to at least see if it makes sense to put our name on that roster. I think what they're trying to do is good because there's some serious flaws in the formulation, not the least of which is 42% of the affordable housing obligation comes from the urban aid communities. When they tried to figure out how many affordable units we need in the state, they counted urban aid communities, and that makes up 42%
None of which are
of the
in
number.
this, none of which are obligated. No.
Not any
Right.
of that 42% will be built there
Right.
in any of those communities, which includes urban aid communities like Hackensack, Asbury Park, Hoboken. Go find an affordable place to live in Hoboken. They're exempted from it. And we have to make up that 42% in the other 58% of the state. So
Why is that, Michael? Who made that decision?
it was a determination made by the legislature, largely based upon a law that was drafted. And let's be clear about this. The law was drafted by the folks at Fair Share Housing. That's who drafted the ordinance, the legislation, I mean. The largest supporter of Fair Share Housing is the governor. And so, again, I don't mean to play politics with this, but the Fair Share Housing Corporation was the major force behind this legislation, which puts an absolutely unfair burden on all of us. If there is a change in political party or what have you after an election, it will not do away with the concept of affordable housing. That's not going away no matter what. What can change is some of the numbers. And if that changes, our resolution says right in it, if the law changes, we change. We have the right to do that. And so we would.
And I think that's the message I want to convey to our residents. Affordable housing should be a part of every new development. That is absolutely what certainly I believe, and I think, you know, everyone would concur. What we are now is under a state of duress. When there's a new development, there should be a proportion amount set for those who can afford a different set of circumstances. We now are under a state of duress, being pushed to do things before it even is on the table. So I feel duress under it. I don't know if anybody else will concur. So we have to adjust our sail to this situation. We have to. But it's not us against affordable housing. That's not the issue. It's us against being forced to do it before it's even happening, but development's even happening. So we're adjusting our sail. But we'll always be cognizant to our residents in making these decisions. That's really what I thank you for your expanding on that. That's all I have.
I've had enough.
Don't say you've had enough. You want to know. Thank you.
I had comments on that, but I'll save it for resolutions. Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to have our Sergeant Delalo come forward, basically to answer any questions that anyone would have in the audience, so you don't really have to wait here for the entire meeting. So could you come forward, Sergeant?
Yeah.
Yeah, sit over there.
Sorry, Laura. Thank you.
That was easy.
At this time, if anybody has any questions for myself or for the sergeant, please come forward.
While we're waiting for that, anybody can come forward,
You-
feel free.
I was just trying not to make the humming noise. While whoever is coming forward, I would just like to extend my heart as well as the police department's hearts to the individuals and the victim of the crash and the individuals closest to that victim of the fatal crash, as well as the victims that are going to be struggling every day, whether it be the immediate family members of the victim or individuals that were at that crash scene or live in the immediate area. They're going to be dealing with it, and they're going to be victims of mental health while they try to piece this all together and make sense of it, and it just doesn't make any sense. So from my heart to you and from the police department's heart, I want you to understand we know where you may be at mentally and more so emotionally. So thank you for taking the time out to be here.
Ma'am? Yeah, we're speeding up the public portion a little bit, but just state your name for us. A little louder.
I'm sorry, hold on. Okay, and just your name and the town you're from, please.
Okay, Kathy Seraphin, Hawthorne. So I'm the corner of North Watchung and Ray Ave Extension. And so the signs are up, the cones are out, and there were a bunch of tickets written this morning.
This is strictly about
The left
the
turn.
accident, not
Oh,
left
the-
turn. We're only talking about
Okay,
the
sorry.
accident at the moment. That's why we have the police department. We'll get you when you're public.
Sorry.
Wish to be heard?
My name is Patrick O'Donnell. I live in Hawthorne. I live across the street from where this happened. My son and I were out in our front yard cleaning up, so I saw everything. We saw the truck coming down the hill. I saw him hit the car. We were the first ones over. I was able to get the truck driver out of the truck. Unfortunately, I couldn't help the gentleman that was in the car. I think the biggest problem that I have is that some kind of traffic lights, something has to be done there. I lived there for 40 years. I've seen hundreds of accidents there. I mean, I guess we waited until someone to die, and now he's died. And it doesn't seem like there's any way that anyone is going to do anything about this. We've known about this for years. The gentleman that lives across the street from it, the truck went into his house. He complained months ago. Something needs to be done. You know, how much does a sign cost at the top of the hill? How much does a sign cost at the bottom of the hill? I mean, what does that cost? Whether this could have helped him or not, having a sign on there, I don't know. But for those trucks be coming down that hill, and you can give out as many tickets as you want. I really don't care. Give the tickets out, because this gentleman that was in that truck was from 2 hours away down south. He filled up in North Haledon, full of gravel. He probably relied on his GPS to get him there.
He did.
He did. So there has to be a way to stop people from going down that hill in heavy trucks.
We're in agreement with you 100%. We've already talked about potentially notifying, there's a separate truck GPS service as well to get them to not route through there. I don't know how exactly, as a layman, how to do that.
Well, in that, I'm a truck driver. I
Well-
drive a truck for the,
Well, we're looking
all
to-
winter.
Well, first you need an ordinance to restrict the truck weight and through traffic. All on board, like the mayor said, the ordinance committee is ready to pull the trigger and go forward on that. We're looking to work with the police department. I spoke to the captain the other day, right after it, said we got to do something. From what I understand, it was potentially a brake failure, which, okay, it's not going to help a little truck, but it's still going to come through. But we are on board with addressing however we can to keep the trucks out of that whole neighborhood.
Yeah, but I mean, there's more than that. I mean, I've lived there, and I pull out of the driveway. And every day when I pull out, there's cars speeding around that corner. It's a blind corner coming from Wyckoff into, like up from Market Basket by coming in there. That's where this gentleman was coming from. It's a blind corner. You can't see. When you're coming off of Fairview, you want to make a right or a left. You can't see. I've almost got hit there hundreds of times. And I know that, I've gotten in accidents on the other side of it, Grandview, right in front of my own house. We've been begging for years. I had a guardrail in front of my house. And I guess the last accident that hit into the guardrail was probably 5 or 6 years ago. So 2 days later, they came and they pulled up all the guardrail, took it out, and left with it, and never put it back. So the guardrail was there for 35 years.
Who took it out, sir? Who took it out? The county or the town?
No, the Hawthorne, the town took it out, but Passaic County told them to do it. They said that they did a study of the road and the grade wasn't, severe enough to have that. But it was there for 35 years.
And it worked.
And it worked. It kept them out of my yard. I lost 4 trees because of cars going into the yard. Now I have, big stones out there. But
Your
cars
house is the one with the star on the front?
Yes,
Glen Toyota?
used to be.
Okay, that's where I know you from.
Yep. So it's, I've lived there for a long time. Now I live up on 87 Highview Terrace, so I come down Fairview every day, but my son lives there.
Okay.
And we never let our kids play in the front yard.
Okay, well, we were certainly, good, like the mayor said, every avenue will be looked at. If it was a bad accident that took us all to wake up, hopefully we are.
I hope so.
Sir, I will call speak with the county tomorrow and see what we can do and how fast we can do it. I mean, I know it would take time if there's going to be a light there because.
I think, every place else we're putting signs here, signs there, signs here. That road's been bad forever. And there's one little sign on the bottom says no trucks going up. But you
Should
don't
be on
have
the
a problem
downside.
going up. You got a problem coming down.
Right.
Well, we had a problem on McFarland Ave where a garbage truck lost its brakes coming down. I said, well, that's real easy. Do your pickups going up.
Well, the same thing happened here. There was a garbage truck last year or 2 years ago, gentlemen, last year.
They should do
Same
their
thing,
pickup
in his
going up.
house. In his house.
Common sense.
Yeah, but that's, I don't know, there needs to be something. I mean, the gentleman who passed away, his family is here,
I understand.
And if I have to be here every meeting to come up and say something every time, I'm going to, until something is done. Because I don't want to see this anymore. I'm dealing with it from what I saw. My son was supposed to be here, and he couldn't, because he can't deal with it. So, just do something.
We will.
Yeah, Pat, before you go, Pat, and since I'm up here, obviously, I'm able to talk at will, I guess.
5-minute rule.
First of all, Anthony, and I don't mind opening up and being a little bit vulnerable to you. I'm a very close neighbor of yours. You probably may or may not know exactly where I live, which is fine because we're residents. So I can share with you, and this is not about me at all this meeting, but I can share with you that three of us now, one of them being my 17-year-old newly April of this year licensed son, we drive that road every day and that intersection every day. And not only is it on my mind every day, but it's on my mind twice a day now since that incident. It could have been any one of us in this room. I'll leave it at that. I would like to say thank you for what you did that day because I spoke directly to the first responders, namely the police on scene that were there, and they did mention you, not you by name, but they mentioned exactly what happened about someone going out above and beyond, Call of Duty, but being a good human being and putting your life at risk. So thank you for that. And I would like to hear, you started saying something about you being a truck driver.
Yeah.
I would actually like to hear what you have to say about that.
I drive a truck. It's a 20 or 33,000 pound truck, an oil truck. And I make home heating oil delivery. And I live up there. Now, I've gone up the hill in my truck, but I won't go unless it's, almost empty. I won't come down the hill at all in that truck. I'll find another way to go down and around because I know better.
Right.
But I mean, when this accident happened, I saw the gentleman in the truck halfway down the hill. He was standing up in his truck holding the steering wheel and pressing on the brake as hard as he could. The brakes were gone.
They were faded,
They were gone.
as you call it.
He lost air pressure. They were gone.
Yeah.
And the police officers were asking me, well, did you hear a horn? Well, they're air horns.
Separate component system. So the horn would work, but I'm just
Not
leaving.
necessarily. There's an air horn and then there's a street horn. Normally the street horn will work, but
City
the air
horn.
horn won't.
Correct.
And when I'm driving my truck, the first thing I go for is my air horn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever think about hitting the center because I want to make noise.
Right, but he was definitely on the brakes as told by us.
He was on the brakes as hard as he possibly could, but there was nothing that he could have done. The only thing is he shouldn't have been on the hill to begin with. There has to be some kind of thing at the top of the hill. Even put a camera up there with a weight thing when it comes through and it takes a picture and it sends a ticket to their after a while they'll get the idea. Especially with the dump trucks, up in North Haledon, the quarry, they should be spoken to. They should not allow people to say, look, if you're going to go there, take this route. You've got to go down that area, take this route. Don't go that way.
Well, that's what the individuals rely on, the multiple trucker apps that are out there. And unfortunately, being from where he was from, thought he was doing the right thing.
I don't use a trucking app because all the 4-ton roads, it would take me 4 hours to make a delivery 3 miles away. So I drive on 4-ton roads all the time. I have no choice.
So that, I mean,
Have no
I know
choice.
what you're saying. I'm not guilting you of
You
anything,
know what I'm
but
saying? But I mean, it's what I have to do. People need their heating oil, and if all the roads surrounding their house are under 4 tons,
well, I think in answer to that, to put something out there, what's being done, you're mentioning signage, and it's not going to stop. The signs aren't going to stop anybody.
they're not going to stop it. No.
Just like a piece of paper or a restraining order doesn't stop anybody from coming after me if I have a restraining order against them. It's a piece of paper. This is the sign we're talking about. What's in the works? Yeah, all the signs are getting changed. Currently, there is an ordinance for, I would say, every single street on what we call the West Hill, which is up where you reside. There's a 4-ton ordinance. Are there signs there for all of them? Absolutely not.
No.
So would that be a first step? You're darn right. And the next step is, how do we prevent them from coming into Hawthorne? Yeah, we have to get North Haledon on board.
Right.
So,
Well, especially the quarry, because they know that those dump trucks are going up there.
yeah, the quarry, it's an idea. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. So we are being already proactive. The mayor was on the phone immediately. In my 21 years here, he's the most proactive mayor we've had when it comes to many things, but when it comes to traffic enforcement and safety, he is. So you're not wasting your time here. You're not
I hope
you're not
we
falling
find
on deaf
out.
ears, because we had a meeting today and we went over every sign that needs to be installed. So is it going to stop them?
No.
No. Will it maybe prevent?
It might.
might.
It could have prevented this. Who knows? The guy, would have seen it and said, shit, I can't go down
And-
that way,"
and-
and went off.
And that guy was here the other day, and unfortunately, he's not doing so well either, and it's not about him, but we're all in this together, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, but it's.
For the
you know, I
wrong
had to-
reasons.
I mean, as far as me running over there, I would hope that any one of us would have done the same thing, regardless. So, I mean, I appreciate the thanks, but I didn't do anything that I would hope that none of us, all the rest of us would do,
And the last thing I'll say, if anybody in this room feels like they're struggling a little bit, yeah, there's a badge, there's a sidearm, but we wear many hats in the police department, a few of us, so if you need to have some resources, please reach out, I'll say to me directly, and I'll be able to provide those resources to you, whether it be a certified clinician, therapist, whatever it may be, because right now I think that's the best thing for many of us, and it would help.
This
So
is making me feel better, just to get it off,
That's
get it off
why-
my chest.
Oh.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna work on that, I guess,
Not just Fairview, I meant Gopher Hill. Gopher Hill Road needs to have something that says dangerous.
Yeah, so one of your topics besides the Fairview, obviously you addressed the whole intersection of Goffle Hill, Grandview, Fairview, which is a high volume intersection, which we have multiple data sheets on, because we've had not only those signs that you see that are lit up, but there's other stuff that the public can't be aware of that we have over there to record data, and it's a cut through from North Haledon to 208 every morning, and vice versa. And I could speak for the gentleman by the first name of John on Grandview Ave. I can't give addresses out, but very nice gentleman, makes a very good cup of coffee as well. He's had concerns, so that speed limit was lower. We're there for enforcement. So in regards to that intersection, that's heard as well, besides Fairview.
Something saying blind corner, caution, flashing.
Yeah, there is an advisory sign coming from like the Wyckoff area that your husband was mentioning, the yellow sign, that's actually considered an advisory sign. I think it says 35 and it has a little curve shape on it. But yes, I understand what you're saying, maybe something a little bit more to enhance it.
Yes, because
I've been there for a long time, I don't remember seeing that sign.
Yeah,
I guess it's there.
it is actually, yeah.
they did put
We're used to seeing it, that's why.
They did put a sign up that has, they put it on our property, I guess, last year, the year before, just with triangles saying, oh, it's a little corner, a turn. It's not just a turn. You go straight to my house. It's a blind corner, and they need to have lights or even flashing, caution, slow down,
Yeah,
dangerous intersection.
it definitely needs to be enhanced, the traffic safety needs to be enhanced,
Yes.
as well as the mayor reaching out to who his connection is in the county to hopefully reinstall that guardrail sooner than later.
We spoke to Booker, we spoke to everybody.
The chief of police.
I think you have the right guy's ears this time. I'll be honest with you.
Wrote a letter, I had a stack this big of pictures of all the accidents. I went to a congressman, Rich McCullough was the chief at the time, he wrote a letter saying how many accidents. This guy did not put the guardrail back out.
There's a new county engineer from the period when Rich McCullough was chief, so
Okay, yeah, it's been quite a while since
the
I've.
mayor's had success with the North Day Street where before there was a brick wall. So, thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
Thank you.
Sir?
Yeah, as you probably heard, I'm Dan Shea. I'm the property owner that the truck ran into. 2 years prior, or 1 year prior, we had a garbage truck run into the same yard. 2 years prior, we had a cement roller roll into my yard. Each time, they're replacing guardrails, replacing my dirt. Diesel is leaking on my property, and everybody's saying, wow, we're sorry for the inconvenience. And the council president today got me on my feet. He said two things. One thing, he said the vehicle issue, the truck issue. It's not a truck issue. It's vehicular homicide. Now, if you said that person was driving 10 times the limit of alcohol, you would say, holy crap. If you said he was driving 10 times the speed, you would say, holy crap. He was weighted 10 times the weight that was regulated for that road. And you actually said, oh, we should do an ordinance. There is an ordinance. It's a 4-ton road. It's a 4-ton road. His gross weight was 80,000 pounds on a 4-ton road. The fine, and I talked to the police about it, and you know, unfortunately, I was upset, and I said, you know, blood's on your hands. And they actually said, well, talk to the mayor. And I said, well, blood's on your hands. Because if you have the ability to stop people on a 4-ton road and you don't do it, yeah, it's our fault, right? And I have talked many, many times after the cement roller issue. I actually was walking my dogs up that road, and a dump truck was passing another dump truck while they were milling the road, and a police officer, young lady, was actually directing traffic. And I looked at her and I said, what the hell? And she said, I know, isn't it crazy up here? That's how we can't do enforcement. And you're right, if we can't do enforcement, we got to come up with ideas. We have one attorney. We have, I think, 12 lawyers in here, and attorneys aren't lawyers. Lawyers practice the law. Lawyers write the law. Attorneys only interpret, they manipulate the law, they do all that kind of stuff. You guys are the lawyers. You guys write laws, right? Do you guys know 39.3? Overweight vehicles, right? Just updated not too long ago. I actually, and the reason I say the council president gets me on my feet is because he said it was a brake failure. Again.
It was.
But going 10 times.
We don't know that at this point. We don't know what the cause of the crash was. So on your, to your credit, go ahead.
Going 10 times the speed, would you say, oh my God, the guy had a brake failure? If he was on a 35-mile-an-hour road and doing 160 miles an hour and he got into a crash, you said, well, he had a brake failure. If he was 10 times the alcohol limit, would you say, oh yeah, but he had a brake failure?
So you're going in circles. I never said that was the only reason.
I'm
I just
with
said
you.
that, and
I'm with you. I'm just
what I
saying why
said
it got me
before.
on my
Yeah, but
feet.
you're wasting no opportunity giving it to us. Well, we're saying we're going to try everything possible to try.
Council President, with all due respect, the gentleman, just like the gentleman before, with all due respect, he's speaking, which may or may not be making him feel better.
Well,
If you want to direct it at me, take it at me. I've been punched many a times.
No, and I do want to talk to the council. I do want to talk to the mayor because, as I said, there have been, and yeah, I've talked to that officer behind us, and I said, hey, we got to do something. And there were signs that went up that said, don't use this temporarily, and it worked for a little bit, but. Mayor's got to help us out with enforcement. If the police department doesn't have people to enforce it, because you need a stick to enforce it. There shouldn't be one of those trucks at all on that truck any day. And actually, one of the guys was showing me, there was a truck yesterday after the accident. It was a dump truck hauling a backhoe on that same road. Again, 10 times the weight. 10 times. You know, again, you could say I'm talking in circles, but I want that to sink in. And, you know, a lot of people are talking about inconvenience. Yeah, my driveway, I just spent $10,000 on it last year. It's been re-milled, right? Who's going to pay for that? Yeah, maybe the trucking company. Maybe they won't have enough cash when it's all over, right? My front trees, they're starting to brown. Why are my trees starting to brown? Because there's diesel again on my parking lot. But the biggest inconvenience, and I'll talk to you guys right here because maybe it'll hit home, is I had a gentleman, maybe he's waiting to talk. Yeah, I had a gentleman on Sunday, Father's Day, not next Sunday, this Father's Day, at my property, right? Came up on my Ring camera, didn't ring my doorbell. He was just mulling around my front door. He actually told me, I don't know why I'm here, but this is the property my father died at. That's an inconvenience, sir. That's circling around. So don't tell me, oh, you're circling around, you're wasting time. No. Understand that. Do something.
What I said we do. Ma'am?
I think this is a fair.
So, we're Mr. and Mrs. O'Sullivan. We live on 22 Grandview. I'm getting emotional already. We live
Sorry,
a
sir.
couple of
Just the last name
O'Sullivan,
and you're from Hawthorne.
Hawthorne, yeah.
Okay.
And we live.
I don't need an address, thank you.
That's fine. I just wanted to raise a couple of things. We live on that street, and the cars just fly down there. From the UK, sorry. And I think what we've got to look at as an engineer here, I think what we need to look at is traffic calming. So road bumps, stop signs, anything that's going to prevent people hurtling down these roads, because it's just shocking. And I think my wife wanted to say a few things.
Yeah, maybe a street light. I mean, we live on Grandview, and I like to back in the driveway so it's shaded. I can get my baby out of the car, and even while I'm backing up, cars are hurtling around me. And we're 2 houses away from the end of the street where there's a stop sign. So there should be no reason when I'm backing up to get my baby out of our car that cars can't even be patient enough for me to pull in the driveway. Stop signs clearly are not stopping them enough. And if there's some sort of traffic light, like off of Cedar is an exit off of 208, there's a traffic light. Russell, there's one in Franklin Lakes, like it's a major road because we exit and entrance on a 208. So in that hill is scary, but cars coming the 3 other ways is scary as well. Like you see cars swerve all the time around other cars, and it just seems that a stoplight isn't enough. It's not stopping people. People have slammed on their brakes before, I think almost slammed in the back of other cars. And it just, I can't have him playing in the front garden. They can't have children playing in the front garden. And we can't even go out on the street to go up to the sidewalk to go for a walk, because it's just, I can't bring him to go get the mail at the mailbox. Cars they're on their phones, they're texting, they're not paying attention, and they're like, oh, the stop sign is up here, it doesn't matter. So if there's some sort of stoplight, we moved here a couple years ago from New York City, but it's insane to see all the accidents that are happening in a cute little town on a corner. There has to be something that can be done. It's not sufficient.
I just think, just look into traffic calming. I think that's the way forward. Slowing people down is going to prevent this poor family losing family members, right, and other people. And I know you guys have to pick up the pieces. So, yeah, please.
Yeah, it could have, it's terrible what happened, but it literally could have been any of us. We turn to go to that park all the time to go for walks. So if cars are as frequent as they're saying hurtling down that hill, it could be any of us. So it's very sad. It's very close to heart because we drive by that road every day, and it's really sad to see.
We'll look at all options, I promise.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Azar. I'm here for what one of you called the truck issue. Just a little issue, little one. My dad was killed on June 11th at the intersection of Fairview Ave and Goffle Hill Road. He was struck by a monstrously large dump truck carrying stone from the quarry. A truck that came down the hill and blew the stop sign, killing my father. My dad was coming home from work that day after briefing some of his guys at work on road safety, his team of garbage men and drivers. He would routinely get up at 2 or 3 in the morning to drive down to South Plainfield and train his guys on road safety. He had his hard hat in his car after it was turned to a pancake by this Titanic vehicle. I stood in front of this vehicle this morning or this afternoon, and it was like standing next to a ship or a building. And that road and that truck was permitted to be on that road. Johnny, that's my dad's name, you'll get to know his name very well in the coming months. was more of an internal person than an external person. He was thoughtful and contemplative. He would communicate more with a nod and a look than anybody could with just their words. He was a principled man. He was patient with me and with my sisters, which is quite a feat. He did the right thing. He was tough. He uplifted many of us when we dealt with loss in the family. He was a hard worker. At different times, he owned a deli, Johnny's Deli. He owned a pizzeria, 2 pizzerias. He worked at a suit shop when he was younger. He managed car rental. He managed uniform rental. He was in the waste disposal business at the end there. And despite the demands of his job, of all of his jobs, he was always a fully present father. He never missed an important moment. He was respectful of my mom, an example to my sisters and I. I have 2 younger sisters, one of whom is here with me today. I've given to each of you $20. If you need more, let me know. Now you can go ahead and purchase an effing sign at the top of the hill at Fairview, okay, to avoid another totally preventable tragedy. It will have only cost you $20 and my father's life. I saw some of you joking about the bills before. My dad loved to joke. I wish he could be here to joke like you guys. It sounds to me like you guys have made a lot of changes. I hear that you've been here at least 3.5 years. I don't know, election, re-election, I don't know. I'm a resident of Hawthorne, by the way. You can note that, okay? And still, after 3.5 years, there's no sign on Fairview, and none of those signs that you said have been placed were placed in the previous 3.5 years. So I guess you guys have been busy with the garbage can issue and the bleachers. Since my father was killed, I drive down that hill every day, and there is still no sign. Please put up the sign. My dad died in part because you people did not put up a sign, even after this has happened before, many times down the exact same hill. Even after a cement mixer nosedived into that gentleman's driveway, a Hawthorne resident, even after there have been other accidents. My mom is a widow in part because of you. My sisters lost their father in part because of you. I lost my dad in part because of you. So please take the $20 or pull your money together and get an effing sign up at the top of that hill prohibiting trucks. I'm going to be there every day, counting the days when there is no sign up there in between all of my other appointments to deal with all of my father's affairs. I heard a lot of talk today about banner sizes, a destroyed garbage can, the Emerald Experience Band, Captain Jack, I Love Motown, the Lego Movie, or a variety of Lego movies, the pool membership. I hope that this will go at least towards the top of the pile. That truck should not have been on that road, period. I'll say it again, that truck should not have been on that road, period. After all the speeding complaints, after just common sense, because again, it had happened before. If we were all born today, I wouldn't fault you guys, but this happened many times before in your town. I admit I am concerned. I don't feel like I'm talking to serious people, not all of you, but some of you. So I admit I am concerned. I also want to say, I know you had an issue with the calendars about when Father's Day fell on the calendar. I can clarify, Father's Day was this past Sunday. I had to wake for my father that day, and I buried him the following day. So Father's Day was last Sunday. A week ago, I wasn't sure how this could have happened. After getting to sit in here with you all for not even a couple of hours, I get it now.
Does anyone else wish to be heard?
Hi, I'm Angelo Tamburi. I live at 41 Fairview Avenue. So I've been conversing with the mayor and Lieutenant Kowski over the past several months. I've lived in Fairview for over 20 odd years. And I have to say that it's gotten worse, okay? yes, we've had cars and high traffic volumes there for a long time. However, the speeding, when I come out of my driveway and point my car down the hill, if I don't touch the brakes, I could reach 40 miles an hour, and I'm halfway down the hill. A car passed me going down the hill. That's how fast these cars are going. And I kid you not that I would say, and I know Lieutenant had put in a system that will record the amount of speeders on the block, and they have worked with me, and I appreciate that. They put up the pancake board, whatever you guys call it, sign, and other things to help try slow people down. It's just not working. It just, people don't care. They blow by that sign like it's, I've gone out there and trying to get my mail without getting killed, going like this, please slow down. And they just go by and don't even acknowledge. So if there's something, I think we got to think outside the box. And I think we need to, the gentleman from the UK was saying, maybe cones, maybe some sort of speed bumps. And I know that's a little bit maybe impractical on a hill that steep with snow removal and things like that. But I hope that, we take this extremely seriously, and it shouldn't take someone to pass away for us to do something. So I said my piece, and I don't want to be repetitive because everybody else is basically saying the same thing. But if we can come up with a way to slow people down, that would help. And with the size of the trucks, like you said, I have the picture. I was just happened to be taking in my garbage can, and a huge truck, probably the same size as the accident, carrying another truck, right? A backhoe. Has to be an enormous amount of weight. Should not be going down the hill. Should not. And the other last thing I'll say is people try to go up and down, not only for walks, but for exercise. They're going up and down the hill on bikes, just walking, and they take their lives in their own hands. They really do. And I've almost been hit myself taking my dog across the street. So please, take it seriously, and please let's try to find some sort of solution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Ma'am?
I don't have much to say, but the gentleman
No,
on his phone.
you got to come up to the mic and
I don't need to, but the gentleman on his phone is incredibly disrespectful. There are people here who are mourning. If you could just give a minute of your time, that'll be very appreciated. It's extremely rude.
I'm sorry, I was just looking at the map to just try to visualize where people were coming from, and I was trying to do that for the issue, but I apologize for.
Please give these people your full attention. Thank you.
anyone else? Mayor?
That concludes the report from administration. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all.
Okay.
I happen to live up in that area. I come down Fairview every day. I'm so incredibly sorry for your loss. That's all I have. I'm just so sorry.
Can I have a motion to record the administrative agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Bennett, second by Mealy. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries. Introduction of ordinances. We have none this evening. Resolution consent agenda MR 04-25, R 102-25 to 115-25. MR 04-25 is to install a handicap space at Block 168, Lot 901. R 102-25 is a Chapter 159 Clean Communities 2025. R 103-25 is Chapter 159 Stigma Free Walk for Wellness Campaign 2025. R 104-25 is Chapter 159 Local Recreation Improvement 2025. R 105-25 is to endorse the Housing Element and Fair Share Plan, fourth round affordable housing. R 106-25 is the 2025-2026 liquor license and renewals. R107-25 is the 2025 Band Shell Performers, Part 1. R108-25 is award of contract to Lou Environmental Lead Paint Inspection Services. R109-25 is the award of contract to Boswell Design and Inspection Services for the WAG-1 bleachers. R110-25, which was amended this evening, is to authorize the submission and acceptance of an NJDOT grant application for Westervelt, North 17th, and McFarland, not the ones that are on your agenda. R111-25 is the sale of note to NJIB Phase 2 of the lead water replacement lines. R112-25 is the sale of note to NJIB Phase 3 of the replacement of lead water service lines. R113-25 is to authorize a note for NJTB loan project number TB 1604-001, 2025 road program. R114-25 is Chapter 159 Alcohol Education Rehab Enforcement Grant. And R115-25 is to rescind and revise R77-25 due to a computational error of 6 cents. And can I have a motion? Motion by Watecki. Second by anybody?
I'll second it, but R106-25, abstain on Tareglia Realty renewal, yes on all others.
We're not voting yet. We're not
Oh,
voting yet.
I'm sorry.
So second by
What are we doing?
Sasso.
Sasso second.
Before we go through them, I want to make a comment on 105-25, which I would have jumped in before, but
Sorry.
that's okay. Obviously, it's a state mandated requirement. We peppered the planner at the planning board last night, and he kept saying it was a state constitutional requirement. I said, no, it's a state requirement. Nowhere in the Constitution, as our attorney said, does it require affordable housing. So let's call what it is what it is. They also exempt all urban towns from any requirement. Well, to me, in my humble layman's opinion, that's a violation of my civil rights because you're treating one class of people different than another. Number 3, the resolution to the state, the chairman of the ordinance committee has drafted a resolution to the state opposing the round 4 required mandate. I'm going to ask him to give that to our attorney for incorporation into Hawthorne's format, and we're going to put it on as a resolution to the state for next meeting. So Mike, if you want to.
I don't know if
You don't
want
have to
me
read it. You
All right,
just turn it
I
over
am,
to me.
I am submitting a resolution to oppose the state-imposed fair share housing mandate.
Okay.
And would you like me to present it to you? And
Give it to the attorney. My 4th issue is I've asked the borough administrator and the attorney about joining the potential lawsuit to see what costs are involved. And I will push for. We had to do that in the middle of my comments?
She's cold.
I'll push for senior housing on the Hawthorne Chevy property, even though it's a certain percentage, try and get as many as we can for there and try and offer something to our seniors in return for an obligation that we're forced to enforce. So with that said, I'll open it up to other comments for any of the resolutions. Raina?
Thank you. This affordable housing, we've been doing it. We've been taking our obligation, and we have complied with the law. And this one was amended last year. I read the law. It is really not fair, and it's not equitable to all of the municipalities in the state of New Jersey. As everyone has said, the urban areas are exempted. They have zero obligations. And 3 of those towns are in Passaic County, Clifton, Passaic, and Patterson. There are no requirements for zero for our rehabilitation and our needs. So it's really difficult for all of us, but the issue here is this is the best plan that we can do. And I do not want to go to a lawsuit with a judge telling us that we can put 200, 300 units on these properties that we know can't handle it. Our infrastructure can't handle it. Our streets can't handle it, and our residents. But I do not want to go to a court, especially with a property next to a train station, and say, why can't you put housing there? And that's what we're up against. It's upsetting, it's frustrating, but the law was changed. And as Michael said, it's driven by the fair share housing, and they want housing, and they want high density. And we have done that. We've fulfilled our round 3. It's round 4. We actually did not accept the number that we were given, 300. We negotiated and settled for 200. That's still not enough. That's still too much for us. But this is what we have to do. I just want to point out that Montville is the lead on that lawsuit, as everyone's been saying. But last night, they had their fair housing share plan discussed, and I assume approved last night, because all the towns do not want our rights to be taken away by litigation and the judge, because we'll lose all our zoning obligations. The judge will say the zoning is not applicable. And so I just want to make that point, that all the towns that are in that lawsuit have to follow the same law that we are following right now, with a plan, and it has to get passed, and we need to put it in before June 30th. So that's where we are. It's unfortunate that we're at this place, but we do need legislative change, because we do need to have fair and equity to all of the towns in New Jersey, not just the facilities, our towns, that have to take the burden onto the towns that do not have to do it. And so there's 48 towns that are not obligated. Just wanted to point that out. And that's where we are. And those are the facts. Thank you.
If I could just, the Montvale lawsuit, we refer to it multiple times. I really like Council President's reverse discrimination comment. Is there an opportunity that we could approach, not saying we shouldn't, COA's been around since 24 years before me.
You'd have to go to a federal court, because the New Jersey court has already determined it's a constitutional right.
No, I'm talking about the 48 towns who don't have to be a part of but they're allowed to be part of the math. They're not allowed to.
Yeah, part of the challenge that's being set forth is the formulation. So one of the major challenges is the unfair allocation, exempting, and you mentioned Patterson, Clifton, Passaic. We can all agree they're fairly urban. What about Asbury Park and
You can't find a house in Asbury Park for less than $1 million.
I know. What about Hoboken? Tells you, and they're in the same category, which is insane. And look at the list someday of urban aid communities, and go find affordable housing in Asbury Park someday. So it is part of the lawsuit. Council President reached out to me today, reached out to Eric, and look, I like what they're doing. I don't know if they'll succeed. And if we find out that it's in our best interest to join in with them, then we can always join and make our voice part of it.
I totally agree with Council President.
Well, I thought it was a good idea myself. I don't want to give him too much credit, but
Blind squirrel.
Yeah, no, you're good, Frankie.
Any other comments?
Yeah. Does anybody ever get the feeling you're getting something shoved down your throat and you just don't like the taste of it? Well, that's this going on right now. The fact that our state government has allowed the benefactors of this bill, that they wrote it themselves. And if I'm correct, the biggest donor was the governor. Am I correct about that?
Yep.
That was told to me last night. That the biggest donor of the fair share housing, and I don't know what title or name they go under, happens to be our current governor. So it just stinks. It
is fair share housing, and they're partners in crime in all this, and it is criminal in some ways.
It absolutely is.
The New Jersey Builders Association. So what is that telling you? Where they're partners in all the lawsuits is the New Jersey Builders. So the builders are in cahoots with the fair share housing advocates, and it's the municipalities on the other side going nowhere.
And the fact that, and I know we spoke about this, but I got to get it off my chest, the fact that they exempted urban communities, but put the numbers that they would require to have, but exempted them from having to have this. It's sickening. It's just, somebody has to be held accountable. I mean,
It's blatantly obvious.
it's,
That's
I
not right.
can't tell you how sick I am that we have to digest this and suck it up and take the bitter pill because it's a lesser of two evils. And I am disgusted about this. You know, I used to like New Jersey. I don't think I like it anymore. That's all I have.
It'll be better in November.
Any other comments?
I think we said enough.
I think we all feel the same way.
All right, roll call.
I'm sorry, I have Woteki,
I have a yes.
Skiara,
I have a yes.
and pardon me, we're on all the resolutions, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sasso,
On R 106-25, abstain on Dragley Realty, yes on all others.
Mealy,
Yes.
Leosa,
Yes.
Bennett,
On R 105-25, under extreme duress and on advice of counsel, I will vote yes. On all
Math-
of the others, unequivocally, I vote yes.
thank you. Matthews,
On 105-25, I vote no because I can. Yes on all the others. I mean, it's disgusting that we even have to, I made sure I had the 4 votes so that it would pass, so that we're protected. It's a joke. Reports of special council committees. Dominic, we'll start your way.
First of all, I want to thank my Republican people who voted for us in the primary. And second of all, now, I feel sorry for this family, but don't come with $20 to me and insult me at a meeting. I think our council and I think our police department do a fabulous job. They can't be all over Hawthorne blocking traffic. So I take that as an insult to that family. I'm sorry. I think we do a fabulous job up here. To make fun of us, say, well, what's this $20 for? What's this for? That's an insult to us again, because we work very hard to keep this town a fabulous town that it is. And I resent that. I would hope that we all give the $20 back. Thank you.
I also want to thank everyone that voted for Team Lane and congratulate our graduates this evening at the high school level and yesterday at LMS. And that's a hurting family, Dominic. They're hurting. So I know that Mayor will work in unison with Mayor George and, of course, with the county, because this has now reached a horrendous level. And together we'll get something done to the best of our ability. I have no doubt. That concludes my report.
Bruce?
I have nothing.
I see our friend Jack Lohr here, and congratulations to your side, too. Both sides managed to bring the vote out, uncommon in a primary and an off year. So congratulations, and I know we're going to run a clean, issues-based campaign on both sides.
Yeah.
No, just my condolences to the accident. So sorry. I have no other report. Thank you. And we will work with the mayor and anything that we need to do to put some barriers or restrictions up there and enforce. Thank you.
Mike?
In listening to the family this evening, I understand it's very emotional for them. And even though we're trying to conduct our regular business, it hurts. And I am sensitive to that. They sound like they're very good people, and this is an unfortunate thing. And I think we owe it to the community and the family that we do everything in our power to try to make sure that this never, ever happens again. And my condolences to the family. I'm completely sorry that you've experienced such a horrible, horrible thing. That's all I have.
I too express my condolences. I do want to say that I can't imagine anyone better fit for the job of improving our streets. I know you'll do a great as our public safety leader. For my council committee, Board of Health meeting is tomorrow night. I will be unable to attend, and that is all I have.
If I may, just briefly, sorry, I know decorum. I just simply want to say, As much as you resent the $20, I resent the fact that my father passed. You guys can keep the $20. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for making it about you.
No, while you're here, could I make a comment, sir? No. This is not a negative. My term of the truck incident was not meant to belittle or demean the situation. It was for this, I knew she was here for something else. I apologize if it came off as a slight. That was not my intention. It was because I knew she was talking about a different issue. That was all it was for. Council report?
I did forget something.
Sure, go for it.
The only thing I did forget when the council committee is the Hispanic Heritage will conduct a meeting on June 26th at 6 p.m.
Okay, well, I've got, the planning board met last night, and we beat the issue to death, as we did tonight. We also had an applicant who's got an auto body shop on Wagger Road, who's been working illegally for over a year and a half. What he said was nothing that was written down on his application. The mayor called him out on a bunch of items, and he was set to come back with engineering site plan drawings because he thinks he can fit 18 cars in a space that's big enough for 10.
Mr. President, he was closed down today.
Thank you. Yeah, he's also operating in Patterson illegally as well. So, anyway.
We can't shut them down there.
No. Chamber of Commerce wants me to hold up their signs again to remind them of, zoom in, Nancy. You see any Zoom going on out there?
I don't know if Nancy's zooming.
Oh, there she comes. All right, here's the schedule of events for the Chamber of Commerce for the summer. And stay zoomed in. Here's the car show banner. I said I would hold it up, and now I can say I did my job. There were a number of comments on Facebook this week looking for the schedule of the Borough band shell. Now, I know you have previous ones on your website, but can you post that on the Borough band shell? Post it on your Facebook page.
Yes.
And the Borough website.
We're going to get it all up there. It was completed, unfortunately, and I apologize. We have been behind on getting this done, largely falling to me as the chair of the committee. Ellen was able to finalize this with Lisa Sloopmaker today, and I know that it's going up, or yesterday, on wherever we can. So we're going to get it
Look
out
up for you. I said it's coming.
Yes, it is.
If I could just add, I know that Michael was incredibly busy this past week, where we served many, many meals at the St. Anthony's Feast, and I personally want to thank you for all the hours you put in.
28 of them.
You are a fantastic man, and I know the church is grateful for your time.
I was 28 hours in the church cooking, but Joe, you were about 60. So.
What did you do wrong?
Well, I actually have a job where I had to work every day and then go work a second shift at the kitchen for 6 hours every night. And Joe worked every morning, every afternoon, and every evening, 14-hour days. Those are long days.
Good job.
Yeah.
Mr. President, can I make a comment on Michael? Michael, next year, can you do broccoli rabe? Your famous broccoli rabe.
Oh, no. They don't allow you to deviate from the menu. I wish I could. Broccoli rabe. I wish.
Make the best.
I'll make it personally for you.
Joni would come down from heaven and smack us for changing the menu.
Okay, well, that concludes our special county committee reports, council committees. Correspondence, we have C1, new firefighter applications for Sergio Franco and Tashawn Hall to Engine 4. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Bennett, second by Mealy. All in favor?
Aye.
Oops, I'm sorry. That's a call one. That's a call one. That doesn't count, Joe. I just tried to trick you. You say no?
Oh, yeah, she actually,
She's got to call the name.
yeah.
Yeah, roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Leosa,
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Sasso.
Yes.
Skiara.
Yes.
Watecki.
Abstain?
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Bills, can I have a motion to approve the bills and send them to the treasurer for payment? Motion by
Second.
Mealy, second by Leosa. Any discussion? Like I said, if B&B was on there, I would pull the bill. Roll call.
Watecki.
Abstain on the fire department, yes on all others.
Skiara,
Abstain on Ridgewood Press, no on B&B, even though if they're not on there, yes on all others.
There you go. Thanks.
Sasso.
Yes.
Mealy,
Yes.
Leosa,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Matthews.
Public comment, yes. Public comment. Open the meeting to the public. You can talk about anything you want.
Oh,
That's why he's there and not up here. He gave you bad info.
So anyway. Kathy Seraphin, 148 North Watchung Drive. That whole problem, and problem is a terrible word to use, but that whole tragedy, the trucks are a really big problem, a really big problem. On my corner, they go up, there's 2 signs now before you get to the top of North Watchung that say trucks over whatever it is, 4 or 6 tons. But they don't care. They want to get where they're going, and that's the shortest route, right? You don't know how many times I've seen trucks go up, try to make the turn, the right onto, and they can't do it, come down. Go up, come down. Last week, a blue truck, and I wrote it down, and I was going to bring it with me, and I forgot. A blue truck, I thought it was Blue Angels or something like that. Dump truck. I don't know what was in it. 4 or 5 times, up and down, up and down. I said, one of these times, he's going to end up in my yard. He's gonna. So we really, the people suck. They don't care about the signs. Anybody that's going speeding on my road, you put the cones up now on my street so that they don't make the left turn, they go around the cone. They don't care. They want to get where they want to get. That's what we have to do something about. We need to have the police there all the time on those type of roads. That's the only thing that's going to stop it.
You could be deputized, you know.
You know how many tickets
what's
they
gonna
wrote? I was sleeping. I heard the police car going on like 4 times. I'm like, what the heck is that? I get up, my husband's standing in the hallway and he goes, that's the cops. That's how many people they stopped already. I said, that's great. That's what we need. That's the only way it's going to stop.
They are.
Yeah.
There's 2 officers that are out on sick leave. One is coming back on Monday.
Good.
We'll be almost back up to the full complement.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll be there, and we'll be there on Pasadena also.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, people just are terrible people. They just care about themselves and nobody else. That's the whole problem. Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Does anyone else wish to be heard? No. That's a hard no. Okay. Seeing no one, I entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Witecki, second by Skiera. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next council meeting is Wednesday, July 9th at 2025 at 7 PM. Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Witecki, second by Skiera. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned.
Frank?